Yeah, well, first of all, there is this belief that amongst Jews and others that that there's a really simple, firm, unambiguous foundation for Zionist thought in the Torah. Now, very often you see Christian Zionists and Jews referring to the covenant made with Abraham. In the book of Genesis, there's the covenant made with Abraham where God makes some important promises to Abraham and to his seed, and that involves not just Abraham and his seed inheriting the land, that is the land of flowing with milk and honey, Canaan. There's this idea of the perpetual gifting of the land of Canaan to Abraham's descendants or his seed. And not only that, there's this anointing of Abraham and his seed with a universal mission, of being God's chosen people, which are people who are favored by God above all others. God promises to protect them from their enemies, to curse whoever curses Abraham's seed, to bless whoever blesses Abraham's seed. And the Abraham's seed seem to be endowed with a national mission of representing God to the rest of the world. On Jewish prayer shawls today, you will see things like that. God has sanctified his people, Abraham's descendants, by his laws, and he has, in order that they be our witness to all generations. Now, straight away, the question arises of the difference between a physical descendant, a direct physical father to son descendant, or an ideological philosophical descendant, which is at the root of very much this problem is at the root of very much discussions of Zionism, because you can have someone who's someone's physical descendant, like their great grandson or something, and you could have someone who is a believer, who is a follower of a philosopher or a certain thinker, or a follower of a certain trade. I mean, in many ways, many engineers and scientists are children of Isaac Newton. We are Isaac Newton's descendants in the sense that his ideas are so powerful and pervasive, and they underlie so many scientific and technical endeavours, like engineering and physics and mathematics and chemistry, that in many ways we're all children of Isaac Newton. And a philosophical, a spiritual descendancy from an important historical figure, say. This often shades physical descendants. Now, the Zionist hermeneutic is to insist that Abraham's seed means Abraham's physical descendants. Now, the difficulty lies in that, well, now modern Zionists say, therefore, one way or another, in the twists and turns of history, they are the heirs, the physical heirs of Palestine. They are the heirs of Palestine from the promise to Abraham, and they are the owners because they are the physical descendants. Now, what's glossed over is what these modern day Jews actually believe and how they behave. You can note that many Jewish identified people, they are not Jewish in any religious sense. In any philosophical, spiritual sense, they are not Jewish. They could be atheists, agnostics. Many of them are communists, socialists. They believe in a Darwinist, Marxist view of history. Their ideas of acceptable sexual morality is very divergent from anything you'd find in the laws of Moses. There's this idea of one thing you see in discussions of Zionism is this issue glossed over, entirely glossed over, and it's assumed that purported physical descendants from Abraham. I mean, and that's virtually impossible to prove. It's almost meaningless these days, because I mean, what is a Jew physically? What is a Jew? Does he have a big nose? Does he have, does he look vaguely Middle Eastern? There's all manner of caricatures and endless speculation in literature and elsewhere about what a Jew typically looks like, or so this idea of physical descendants is itself an hermeneutic which most Zionists would loudly protest that it's simply a common sense, simple, literal interpretation of God's promises to Abraham. But see, within the entire Torah, you see this idea of God, like in the book of Leviticus, promising to unfaithfulness. You have unfaithfulness on the side of the party, the Jewish party, Israelite party, the descendants of Abraham. Unfaithfulness, spiritual, philosophical, ethical unfaithfulness to the covenant is rewarded with dire punishment from God. I mean, you can't avoid that. It's it's in the fine print. I mean, like in Deuteronomy, it's basically the entire discussion in Deuteronomy is the question of unfaithfulness to God, the God of Abraham, by wandering off and participating in worship of pagan gods, along with the surrounding people. In the book of Galatians, this very issue is talked about by St. Paul, who says, now Abraham's promise was not to Abraham's children, but to his child. Now, not to Abraham's seeds, but to his seed. And this is, and St. Paul forcefully reinterprets God's covenant with Abraham as God's covenant with God's Messiah. And there's a messianic side, a messianic interpretation of much of the writings in the Old Testament. Which distinguishes a Messiah from, the Israelites generally, and this Messiah is anointed above all his fellows, like King David. King David was anointed with the joy of gladness above his brothers, and so there's this messianic distinction between one Israelite Messiah and the rest of the Israelites. So, Christian Zionism has to, Christian Zionism, like people like John Hagee, are always saying things like,